seeing a little bit of a pickup in the IPO activity. There's 6 book building exercises currently taking place. Give us an assessment on what you're thinking. Is this the start of something more?
No, this is just the beginning and it's ongoing. And I think, it's getting into the last lag because investors were pouring money, they're buying into it, but the numbers are very much against what is going on. In fact, you were talking about in your news update, you're talking about HDB Financial Services. This is a company promoted by HDFC Bank. 6% of the stock is still in public through through employee stock option, which has found its way. So there is a fairly reasonably active market in the informal market, even before listing. And just about a week ago, the fairly active informal, or you can call it the gray market, price was 1,400, and the prospectus is, the prospectus price is 700 to 740. So people have got a haircut even before the issue. If you look, and that is 6% of the company. It is not something which is the periphery. If you look at the post-listing pop and what happens a year later, there is virtually no correlation, 1.1%. So there is a possibility that, and investors are trying to figure out, investors have figured out to an extent, and that kind of objectivity will become visible. It looks like greater fool theory is at work, and investors are likely to be, and we have seen it in the number of IPOs so far, where venture capitalists and IPOs, not much money is actually getting into the company. And if it's not getting into the company and the long-term prospect is still blurred, it is just finding an exit route. Things look very grim. I don't know how long will it last. This is actually a musical chair where you don't know when the music will stop.
Don't know when the music will stop. Okay, that's not what I was expecting to hear. So what will this mean for when HDB actually does come online? We're looking at a July 2nd debut into the market. This is the biggest IPO in India so far this year. So that should be encouraging to the market, no?
No. In fact, what has happened in the market is people have bought this stock for 1,400 and the IPO listing is going to be at 750 or maybe it's a little premium. It is unlikely to double on listing. So it is going to be, even the people who there is an element of lottery in any IPO. When somebody gets allotted, they think that they can exit, staggering on listing is a very normal thing. People are, you don't attract long-term investors in the IPO, which is where a lot of investors pour their money. So with that, and the scale of this IPO is something which makes me think that, investors, even if it trades at 10% premium to its listing price, more investors will be disappointed than pleased.
What about the pricing of the shares? Is this the issue? There is the private market value of a company and then, of course, a disconnect when the shares actually start trading in the secondary market.
No, it is actually a demand supply and the pricing, combination of these two. And pricing seems fair because, HDB Financial Services coming from or promoted by HDFC Bank has all the hygiene or, very nice variables in place. And I don't think they are, and with financial services company, or particularly the non-banking financial services company in India, you always take numbers with a pinch of salt, sometimes with a fistful of salt. But in this case, the numbers could be very credible going by the genesis, going by its, parentage. But just because 6%, it's a very actively traded stock in the gray market, and 6% of the stock is a sizable one. So it's bound, and it is unlikely to double on its listing. And so my sense is that it could be a great long-term, it can have great long-term prospects, but purely based on IPO and listing and, even interesting, little gain, it is not likely to impress or please investors or likely to keep the IPO momentum alive.
So what will this mean for investors that are looking to try and exit their investment via an IPO?
No, those people are done. On day two, the issue got oversubscribed, and HDFC Bank wanted to sell it. So this was a slightly different thing, as compared to most other IPOs in the pipeline. HDB Financial Services, where the lead seller is HDFC Bank, and there is a preferential allotment mechanism for the existing shareholders of HDFC Bank, which is huge, and it is a large bank, large number of shareholders. In fact, the largest private sector bank by capitalization. So this has been able to sail through, but all other big companies in the pipeline where the venture capitalists and the private equity funds are queuing up to hawk their shares, they might be in for surprise.